Hey everybody, this is Jim Hiles at First Capital and Goal Plan 101. Today is Friday, Financial Fridays, September the 10th, 2021. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to look primarily at the U.S. markets, look at the leaders and laggards on a sector view. Overall, the market has had a mixed week, but we're seeing technology continue to push ahead. So again, technology this was over a long period of time. This is relative to the S&P, meaning if it's going up, that means it's better than the S&P. If it's going down, it is worse than the S&P. So it shows you some relative differences happening within the marketplace and maybe suggests that's where you should be focusing your efforts from an investment standpoint. So when you look at technology, it had a nice continual run here in the last couple of weeks into early September now. So communication services, although somewhat spiky, they would call this, up and down, back and forth, they're still in an upward trend. We do like communication services going forward. The laggards, consumer discretionary, really when you look at it from a trend, again, these are 3-year charts relative to the S&P, how they're doing basically versus the overall market. The overall market is outperforming consumer discretionary. You can make the argument here that 25% of the S&P is tech anyway or more. So maybe that makes sense looking at the tech chart, but this is also telling you something more. It's also saying that consumer sentiment perhaps isn't all that great, and that is true. Consumer sentiment is actually pointed relatively negatively right here, and I think it has a lot to do with just the reopening process, the schools coming in, the Delta variant, and what we are also seeing, though, is more and more people are getting vaccinated. Maybe this thing actually does turn around, and we see consumer discretionary stocks, people spending money on things pick up. We also are looking at the government closing down its support system to those who were receiving checks because of the COVID experience. That has now gone away. There seems to be plenty of room within the job market as our unemployment numbers continue to fall. So there's opportunity out here for those who wish to work. From a discretionary standpoint, however, the consumer does need to spend some money, and there's a lot of money to be spent when the confidence comes back. When you look at staples, it's been a laggard for a while. So the traditional staple stocks have really not been the place to be. When looking at the scoreboard, you can see this from sort of a week to week. The scoreboard as to who is leading the charge from a trend standpoint. Technology, communication services are up there. Just not a lot of strength, but they're not giving up. We're also seeing some other interesting players come in here. Utilities, which generally means it's a defensive type of investment, returns to the forefront. Now, we don't know if this is because people are just getting nervous about the market, although I think it's partly some of that, because we really haven't had a 5% drop now, and I think it's been over a year, which is a little bit scary, even knowing the volatility is natural in the market. That's pretty much what you're paid to earn, if you will. The premium of volatility is why people go into stocks and get the 10% over time return. But utilities is an interesting play. It may mean because interest rates are so low, you got to go someplace. Real estate's interesting play here. Again, I talked about this last week as an opportunity as rental rates begin to pick up. Healthcare, although choppy, has been good. And we're seeing small caps start to participate, which is great because we need we call it breadth or broadness of the participation of all these stocks in the trend to push this market higher. So overall, we do measure this against our own, we eat our own cooking, if you will, with our sector select portfolio, where we pick the top 4 sectors and focus just on buying those sectors. You can see our performance and returns here as of the end of the 7th month. We need the 8th month in here. Pretty soon we'll have that. So if you have any questions on this or something else, let me know, and enjoy the weekend.